We got pickup trucks? Check. Horses? Check. Rodeo? Check. Some kind of cattle? Check. Grandma and grandpa? We got wisdom of the ages, the country sage. We got it all, Gene. We got kickers. We got line dancing. Young people trying to hook up. Giant belt buckles. We got trucks. Tractor trailers. We got fucking everything, Gene.
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down to Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat the Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Good evening.
And each week we take a look back in time, decide if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to see all the movies we have covered, will cover, or want to choose one for yourself, please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, with the number of wipes each movie takes to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Shat on TV. We review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all that information and past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you would like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are you reviewing today?
So, Gene, we're coming up on 10 years with this podcast. Amazingly. I think it's August will be 10 years that Shat the Movies and Shat on TV started. And over those years and hundreds of movies and hundreds of episodes of television, watching the shows and talking about them is a lot of fun. But I really enjoy most of all the diverse community that we've created, whether it's Discord, whether it's all of our fundraising campaigns, our live Twitch feeds during the pandemic. The connections that we've made around the world are fantastic. And one thing I've learned throughout these years is that the Shat listener, Shat Nation, comes in many flavors. We have had some of the most unique listeners, and tonight's commissioner is probably the most unique of all. It's Frank Fall. Now, Frank commissioned his first movie back in 2023, and he's been on a tear with some of the most unique films, which resulted in the most memorable, I think, recordings. He started out with Lori Loughlin, slowed bike dancing in Rad. Then there was Near Dark, the classic Tango and Cash, Face Off, Delta Force, and Tonight. It is a bow tie on Frank's legacy with the podcast. So we were very excited to go back to 1992 to review the American drama musical Western film, Pure Country. And Frank, hearing his voice messages is one of the highlights of my day, my week. So let's hear Frank in his own unique style tell us why he thought this film was worth commissioning and supporting the podcast.
When you hear twin fiddles and a steel guitar, you're listening to the sound of the American heart. And Opry music on a Saturday night brings a smile to your face and a tear to your eye. Hey, let's be honest. This is a 4-wiper, maybe a 5-er. But I had to watch this about 10,000 times with someone in my past. But she couldn't handle a top flight. Hold you tight. Get you there by daylight. Do you ride overnight mail. Appreciate it. This might be worse than Tango and Cash. Talk to you later. Bye.
Well, Frank, thank you as always for that voicemail. It was magnificent. And your rendition of Overnight Mail has my spurs a-jangling. Your commission couldn't have come at a better time. I have been locked in a struggle with friends, family, and the internet at large over the soul of country music. I've mentioned on this podcast before that I've spent many a night at Denim and Diamonds, on Broadway in Nashville, going to Robert's Western World and all my favorite honky tonks. Been to Country Thunder many a time. The state of affairs right now with country music, man, it is not great. You got guys like Morgan Wallen that my niece is obsessed with, that are chart-topping guys that don't do what I consider country and are awful people, not upholding the values of Wyatt from Pure Country. But there's still the good guys out there. I've been listening to a shit ton of Tyler Childers. He just put out Snipe Hunter. If you haven't heard it, it's a fucking fantastic album.
And Gene, I have a hot take here. I don't think you can choose country. I think country's got to choose you. So that's why these fellers today, they're picking country to become successful. It's like the fellers out there taking Christian rock,
right,
or some of those other genres we talked about. You got to let country come to you. It's got to come from the heart.
Frank, when you made this commission, I was headed to a lesbian birthday party. I get to the bar and I spent the rest of the night like scream talking about all the wild ingredients that go into Pure Country. I'm like, so it's George Strait, but he's playing another guy called Dusty, and he's got a ponytail, but he cuts that off because he's got to go hitchhiking to find himself. And he meets a rodeo queen, and she's a barrel racer. But then the dude from Friday Night Lights starts lip syncing as Dusty. And I don't want to spoil the rest of the movie for all you listeners out there, but on paper, this movie is weird as shit.
So, Gene, I sometimes mistake your excitement for a film that you enjoy it. So I came into this fired up. I'm like, Gene is hyping this movie up. This is going to be some kind of a spiritual awakening for me. I'm going to connect to my country roots. Because I grew up in the Northeast, and there were two things that most of America loved that I did not grow up exposed to. One was college football. We don't fucking watch college football in the Northeast. We watch professional sports. We don't watch kids in a mural or for people cheering for Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. Did you go to school? No. So then shut the fuck up. It's intramural sports.
Yes.
Second, there was country music. I had no exposure to it until I went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, joined the Army, and I was exposed to country music for the first time. So now, even in my years there, I never went to a full-blown country concert. But I was exposed to it. You mentioned Nashville. Nashville was right down the road. We would go. There were some great artists. I mean, you could sit in some of these hole-in-the-wall bars, and you'd hear somebody that was just as good as Stevie Ray Vaughan. And you'd sit and be, how is this person not famous? The one big act I saw was right after September 11th. It was November. President Bush came down to visit the troops. He was going to come fire us up. And I would have bet that Shania Twain performed for us. But I was fuzzy on it. So I went back, Gene, and I did some research. And it was not Shania Twain, but it was an act called She Daisy. Don't know who that is, but She Daisy performed. And then Sarah Evans.
Is that a drag queen?
No, I think She Daisy was like the Dixie Chicks. I think it was something like that.
All right.
But it was Sarah Evans that I got confused. She played, and then Craig Morgan, and then they played some patriotic tunes, and I remember them blaring over the speakers. Toby Keith's Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and I was feeling patriotic, and I was ready to pick up my rifle and go over there to the desert and fix them. I don't want to say fix them towel heads. We were going to fix them, Gene, but I didn't go over there looking. So whatever. I digress. So he's
allowed to say that because we're besties. It's okay.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I had no experience with the genre, except in Fort Campbell that we had a bar called Kickers. So the parts of this film where we get the small town bar, where they would line dancing and stacking the beer bottles. I had many nights out there looking for, these fine ladies of Clarksville, looking to find my wife of the night. And that felt true to me. But the genre of country, I had no idea who George Strait was. Even today, I did not know who this man was.
People are amazed that country has a pull like all over the country, all over the world, right? Like I just mentioned Tyler Childers. He's finishing his tour in the UK, right? Like it's beyond. I mean, you got Australian country artists, right? It's beyond just the heartland, but nobody should be surprised because it's basically like the goth scene. It's cosplay, man. Like these people aren't actually cowboys any more than I'm an actual vampire. Okay. It's like you're just dressing the part. And man, I see it all the time where friends of mine will post on social media that we went to Tennessee and first stop was the store. We had to get our boots and our hats with our names burned into them and our Western shirts, city slicker style. Right. Yeah. And I'm not hating on it. Like that's cool. Like whatever. But I think some of them get a little confused, just like those guys at the goth club that are a little weird hanging around Denny's and trying to suck each other's blood. Some of these people think they're real cowboys, and I got news for you. You ain't.
No, the term they used to call the locals. They used to say it was Walmart cowboys. Don't want to be a Walmart cowboy.
All hat, no cattle. Pure Country is a 1992 Western musical directed by Christopher Kane and starring George Strait in his acting debut. Despite box office receipts of over $15 million against a $10 million budget, the film fell far short of its expectations. But a successful soundtrack led to Pure Country's expansion into 2 sequels and a stage musical that debuted in 2017. Let's hit the trailer.
Warner Brothers presents George Strait in his motion picture debut.
Where the sidewalk ends and the road begins, we said goodbye.
He had gone farther than he had ever thought, done everything he had ever wanted, and felt more alone than he could ever have imagined.
Sometimes I just want to dump the whole deal. Earl, old bud, I think I'm just going to take me a little walk.
So he set out to find the kind of love.
Did he say where he was going?
I'm pretty worried about him. You follow the roots, you'll find it.
He had only sung about.
You know, I used to play in here years ago.
Let me be your mailman and I'll always come through. Like Pony Express in the Wild Wild West, I'll ride.
It's more fun than I've had in a long time.
'Cause I'm a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
So you really can play that thing, huh?
I was wondering, what are you running from?
In all the world.
She opened his heart,
Haven't you ever been in love before?
brought back his hope,
You're quite a talented man, Mr. Wyatt.
and helped him find the truth
Just me and my guitar. You think anybody'd buy that?
in his own music.
As true as mine.
George Strait, Leslie Ann Warren, Isabel Glasser. Pure Country, directed by Christopher Kane.
Country star Wyatt Dusty Chandler feels that his elaborate stage show is overwhelming his music and discusses it with his drummer and best friend, Earl Blackstock. Without telling his manager, Lula, Dusty goes hitchhiking, shaves his beard, and cuts off his ponytail. He heads for the small farm town where he grew up, visiting his wise old grandmother. Later that day, Dusty visits the bar where he and Earl played prior to making it big. If you're the type of person who thinks Purple Rain felt like one big music video with a weak story just slapped in there to make it technically a motion picture, you're going to hate Pure Country. The opening credits start with the voice of like a little boy singing George Strait's hit song Heartland completely off key. And then it shifts to George Strait taking over and he's singing it the way that earned that song 20 weeks on the country charts. And once that's over, we get to see our first glimpse of George Strait in his acting debut playing Wyatt, who goes by Dusty. And he treats us to another round of Heartland, complete with sweeping shots of the crowd and Dusty looking mighty fine in his rhinestone blazer and giant bolo tie. And then no break for dialogue. We go straight into Baby Your Baby. Okay. Nobody has spoken in the movie yet. We're like 10 minutes in. This is a soundtrack that just happens to have a movie attached to it.
See, I felt like this was the Grand Ole Opry. Or if you went to the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And you'd go into the room and it was like the George Strait wing.
Yes.
And they would tell you a story like the boy grew up in a small town in Idaho only to become. And it was like following his life. This is less opening sequence of a film and more a retrospective of a country artist. And I guess that's the point here for it. But I had the unique perspective, Gene. I already said I had no idea who this man was. I knew that you had talked about George Strait. I know who he is, but I don't know who the fuck he is. I didn't know he's this big country icon. What I mean is I had no reverence for him. I didn't hold him up. If it was Garth Brooks, I'd be like, oh shit, it's Garth Brooks. But for George Strait, I don't know who it is. So I have the chance to judge his performance purely on what I see on screen. That's it. What they put up there. And it's clear he is not a trained actor. He delivers the line very stiff. His expression feels forced. He's struggling to carry the emotional weight of key scenes. Every supporting character around him, you got his drummer, the guy who was in Roadhouse, the bartender. His drummer, he feels natural on screen. He's not that bad. But it's obvious that George Strait, it's not his comfort zone. He's struggling. And the film is leaning heavily on everybody's, I assume, love of George Strait and his image. But Gene, you mentioned Purple Rain. Purple Rain, a sweeping epic compared to this.
Even the fight scene?
Everything. Like bathe in my sins in the lake of Minnetonka. All that shit makes sense now, Gene, compared to this.
For those who haven't seen the movie or haven't seen it in a while, when this movie opens, George Strait looks like an absolute dickhead. He's got like the dusty jacket on. It's cut like a matador jacket. It's a little too short for his body. He's got this like saunter he does with his shoulders. I was relieved to see that they were intentionally making him look like a dickhead so he could look relatively cool later on. And Big D, you're right. He's got the looks for it. He's got the charisma for it. He's just not a fantastic actor. Are you familiar with Chris Gaines?
Oh, yes. Of course. Chris Gaines was the alter ego of Garth Brooks. He was like an emo guy.
Imagine an emo guy.
Yeah, he had the hair over.
Imagine what they could have done with this movie if you had Garth Brooks and then he had his alter ego. He played both roles. He had Chris Gaines in there as well. And that was like his nemesis. Might have had something here.
Oh, that would have been great. A singer trying to become an actor, it's not something new. So I have a list here of some actors, and I want you to tell me, when I say the name, tell me, do you think of actor, musician, or both? Okay? And I'm going to go 10 to number 1 here. Common. What do you think of Common?
Rapper.
See, I think of now actor because of the John Wick movies and Silo.
I haven't seen any of that.
But I'll accept that. So next is Barbra Streisand. What do you think?
Oh, I think actress. Yeah.
I do as well. I think of Yentl, Funny Girl, The Way We Were. But my mother, big time fan of the artist. She saw her multiple times. Cher.
I think singer. Because Sonny and Cher. Yeah.
Yeah, I think singer too. Well, it's because she was...
And Turn Back Time video.
Oh,
for people of our age, like you never forget that.
Oh, that belt. It was like the early Borat swimsuit, except it was made of leather and it was a belt. It was a pivotal moment in many of our lives, Gene. But I still think she started out, Cher, as singer with Sonny.
Yeah. Then
became an actress. She won the Academy Award, I think, for Moonstruck. She was nominated for Mask and Mermaids. But then she went back to music at the end. The whole, I believe in life after love. So that's why I think
that's a jam.
It is a jam. Justin Timberlake.
Ooh, I think singer.
Yeah, I think singer as well, too. There's a tough one for Ice Cube.
I feel like Ice Cube is, that's a both. And specifically because it feels like it's two people. Like I look at the shit Ice Cube is making and I'm like, that's the same guy? Like Ice-T, I could tell that like, it's still Ice-T. He's just being put in an acting role.
Correct.
Ice Cube's like a different man entirely.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. I agree with you. Lady Gaga.
I think singer.
Singer as well, even though she's, still trying. Jennifer Lopez, the Fly Girl.
Ooh, J-Lo, I think both. Yeah.
I think of music. I'll go with both. I know
more J-Lo movies than I do J-Lo songs.
Okay. Now we're getting into the hard. Top 3. These are going to be the hard ones for you.
All right.
Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, actor.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost as if, again, Marky Mark is a different individual. Yeah. So I'll go again with actor.
Underwear model.
Number 2, Queen Latifah.
I think actress. Yeah.
Chicago Hairspray, Equalizer. I think I agree with you there. Number 1.
Also, she just wasn't a very good MC. No offense to the Latifah heads out there.
Number 1, Gene, I think the undisputed king of crossing over has to be Will Smith.
He's gotten weird lately, but he's the DJ, I'm the rapper. I listen to that album over and over and over again. He's definitely mastered both.
And you think Oscar winner, for King Richard. He's done action movies like Men in Black. He did
I Am Legend.
Independence Day, I Am Legend. He did a lot of serious films. He did Ali. So I think he's the most successful. So
He was iRobot too, right?
he was.
That's good.
And then we had Prince also tried with the, probably the George Strait effort and effect, but whatever, it's worth the try, but this movie is flawed in a lot of ways that Purple Rain and other vehicles for singers to transition into actors, because it makes no sense. So you have George Strait now, who is going back to his hometown. He plays Dusty. He is a massive country star from what we're told. He's selling out 25,000 seat. Granted, they're dirt floor like rodeo arenas, but he's selling them out. He's got a big elaborate stage show. They're shooting off like fireworks, and there's like some kind of mountain in the background, an elaborate light show. He returns to his small town, and no one remembers him. Nobody. He's not wearing a disguise. He's not looking like Chris Gaines. All he did was shave his little short beard, mustache, and cut off his ponytail. That's it. He's going back to a town. You would expect everybody to line up to shake his hand. You go back to our film, The Deer Hunter. You come back from Nam, and everybody wants to shake your hand. This guy is a well-known worldwide singer. He's selling out arenas, and it breaks logic. Why is nobody in the town remembering, hey, you come back. What happened? What are you doing? We haven't seen you in years. Why aren't they swarming him, Gene?
The only thing I could think of is he's been gone a long time, and Lula reinvented him, right? Maybe he was a kid playing with Earl. Lula discovered them or whatever, and then they go away for a while. They get reinvented, and then they come back, and so he's unrecognizable to these people. But that's the best I could do. This town, I mean, you talk about the amnesia. It's like they have a recognition issue because they don't even seem to know each other. There's not that many people. It's not that he just went to the nearest town, like hitchhike. He went back to his hometown. His grandmother still lives there. But somehow Harley, who also lives there, doesn't know who he is. Nobody on the ranch knows who he is.
No, and I think it's a lost opportunity. For a man who's been talking about the change of country music, that it's now about the flash and the lights and the smoke, having him go home would have been a perfect opportunity to talk to people who knew him when he was up and coming and pure and acoustic. They could tell him, you lost touch with what country music is. And it could have been a journey for him to go back to his roots.
Yeah, everybody's just bagging on his shit. He goes back and they're like, yeah, you're fucking, dude, you're not country. It's like the Weird Al Fat video.
He's not washed up. He just sold out the fucking arena or whatever that was in Louisiana. They should know who he is, but lost opportunity.
Well, that evening, Buddy Jackson, a member of Dusty's road crew, stands in for Dusty and lip syncs. Dusty's band is not happy. Meanwhile, Dusty sees Harley Tucker dancing in a bar. He notices her arguing with a drunk named Al and tries to help. Al punches Dusty, so Harley takes Dusty home for defending her honor. Dusty stays at the ranch, paying room and board and taking roping lessons while earning the respect of Harley's grandfather, Ernest. Ernest tells Dusty that he is forced to slowly sell pieces of the ranch. Harley is determined to save the ranch with a victory in a Las Vegas rodeo.
So complex. So fucking complex.
So no film based on a country album would be complete without some wise words from the sage elders like Wyatt's grandma, Ivy. And she's hitting us with them. She's like the Yoda of this movie. She says, there's no song if there's no words, which is categorically false. There are actually instrumentals, classical music. There's lots of songs without fucking words. Or there are no answers, only the search. And sometimes the tree grows too fast and the roots don't develop. And sometimes you have to chop the top off that tree to let the roots catch up. Whoever wrote this character of Grandma Ivy should be banned from Hollywood or Nashville or wherever Pure Country came from. This is not a person. This is a flat character who lives alone in a house. We don't know how she manages, what she does. All she does is sits there. She's like an NPC. If you show up, she's going to serve you some iced tea and then hit you with a riddle, right? to anybody who drops by. But also, nobody wants to hang with Grandma. Like, Wyatt shows up. He hasn't seen her apparently in like fucking years or something like that. He's like, all right, Grandma, well, that was cool. Thanks for my guitar. Gotta go now. Like, you can't spend 2 days with Grandma. You got to go to the bar and find yourself. Maybe Grandma can help you with that. Earl goes over. Same thing. He's like, okay, cool, Grandma, I got to go. They all skedaddle as soon as possible. But then they resurrect this character later in the movie. She just shows up at the end at the Vegas show with the Mirage so that Ernest has some of the pork.
I don't want to fanfic this entire podcast, but I think we have to because we can fix it, Gene.
Yeah.
Humble podcasters, we can do it. You have the Holy Grail sitting in Grandma's in her house.
Mm-hmm.
Have sit on the porch, talk about the way it used to be when he learned to play country music and it was pure and in his heart. Then he goes in and he picks up the guitar he learned on, the one he used to play. And that helps him reignite his love for pure country. Did they do that? No. Instead, they try to portray her, like you said, the country Yoda. She's spouting off country wisdom like she's pulling lyrics at random from an ad lib, like it's a country music lyric. She's like, okay, give me something that's about love and relationship. Okay, next it's going to be something about resilience and hope, maybe a simple pleasure, maybe your dog or pet or the farm you grew up on. It's just so stupid. It's such a waste. And the movie focuses on things that don't make sense or aren't needed. You've wasted the first half of this film with Buddy Jackson. Buddy Jackson, this is his journey I'm going to give you in the first maybe 30 minutes. Buddy, he's a member of the crew, and what happens to him is he's identified as a young, undiscovered talent. He's banging Lula, even though we don't see it. He writes a hit song. He then gives it to Dusty. They perform it. He critiques Dusty's performance. Then Dusty, bails and he performs in front of the audience pretending to be Dusty. He vanishes. He appears 40 minutes later demanding $100,000 to keep quiet, but he doesn't keep it quiet, Gene. We don't know why he's doing this, his motivation, what's developed in his character, an explanation for his sudden turn. 20 minutes later, he reappears again on TV, being interviewed, tells the story, tells what's happened, claims he was offered a record deal. The second that he's confronted with proof and says, hey, we're going to sue you, he just pops off, disappears, and runs away. There's no fallout, no rivalry, no resolution. You'd expect there was going to be a point where he is the rising new star, the new country star, the new way. He likes the smoke and fireworks and mountains on stage. Why didn't you do that? You had the Delusioned legend arc. It's there. But instead, Buddy vanishes. No plot twist other than that he goes on TV. It's so lazy. The bones are there for a really compelling story of true country.
I feel like, again, to fanfic on this one, here's one. So they tell everybody at the next show in Shreveport, they say, hey, we're saying this like everyone's seen this movie. I know a lot of you haven't, but he lip syncs, as Dusty.
Oh, you got to back it up. You got to back it up here. So you got to tell that Dusty bails. He just goes for a walk.
Yeah, I know that. I read that part.
You might not know how desperate times are, Gene. It's desperate. The crowd's there. They're chanting Dusty.
They don't know. They don't know until the last second that Dusty's not going to show up. And they're like, shit, we got to do something. Lula hears Buddy coming out of the bathroom and he's like, let's go. And she's like, oh my God, I thought it was Dusty in the shitter. I got an idea. Quickly, they got clothes that fit him just perfectly. He goes out there, he does the show. They don't keep much light on him, so you can't tell. But here's the deal. What if they said, hey guys, sorry, Dusty's sick, right? You could do that. People do get sick, right? He's really, really sick. Something's wrong with the throat, whatever. But we got this up and coming buddy of his, and he's going to do the show with the band. And we're going to refund all your tickets too. I don't think people will be that mad about it. But what they find is people going crazy for Buddy because he's really into the lights and the smoke, which apparently is a problem for Dusty. Dusty's got to win the fans back.
I got a better one, Gene.
Okay.
How about there is no fucking Buddy? Dusty is tired and burned out and goes for a walk. Yeah. They have to cancel the show. Yeah. Fans are disappointed. What happened to Dusty? Is Dusty alive? Where is he? It's a mystery. Everyone's searching for Dusty. So then for the Vegas show, it's almost like Elvis Presley coming out of retirement.
68 special.
He comes back a new and changed core, like pure country singer. You could have done all that and you cut out Buddy. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, but then we wouldn't get Kyle Chandler. And a young Kyle Chandler is a treat. I always loved him in Friday Night Lights. I pull for this guy in everything that he does. And he did the best with what he was given. Not a great character, but I thought he was contemptible in his performance. He was believable. He's handsome.
Very handsome.
I mean, he's no George Strait, but he's all right.
It explains why he's had a long and illustrious career. And I told you he's about to become one of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, that's fun.
DC universe. So he's had a long career.
Did you notice that nothing anyone is doing in this movie ever gets finished?
Yes.
It's like thank you. It's like the writer said, like, okay, we need to have these scenes in the movie, but we don't need logical endings for the scenes. And I'm going to take you through a few. Wyatt, first he sees Harley and she's dancing at Kickers, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's wearing what looks like the hostess uniform for a 90s Tex-Mex restaurant. And he tries to get up and start line dancing with everybody, but he's really drunk and he falls over. And she just stops dancing. And suddenly we're moving right along to just like romance. So this woman who is a barrel racer and like easily the hottest chick in all of Smallsville, wherever the fuck they are, she is somehow attracted to this man. She doesn't know he's a country star. He's so drunk that he falls over out of his seat. He's knocking over bottles. And then we go to Al in the parking lot and there's like a weird push fight. I'm like, okay, so there's a fight, but there's no stakes there. Al gets hurt. He gets his hand smashed and he gets his nose busted or whatever. And Wyatt gets his ass kicked, but then suddenly the fight just like stops. Like they're not actual men in an actual fight. In all street fights I've witnessed and been in, they don't end like that. You don't just get hurt and be like, oh, okay, well, Harley said quit it, so we're going to quit it.
Gene, it's missing these important little like the glue, the little pieces in between scenes. So you mentioned the push fight in the rain, right?
Yeah.
So next day at the ranch, Harley's out there doing some work on the ranch. Out comes Dusty. Where did he sleep? Was he in the house? Was he hungover? Was he in the hay in the barn? We don't know where the hell he is. We don't know if they hooked up. We don't know what the fuck happened. They don't tell us anything.
And the first thing they talk about, he's like, hey, guess I got a little drunk last night. And she's like, do you know horses? and to their credit, there's a funny line in there. He's like, yeah, I know a few.
Oh, no.
So he gets a brush. He brushes the horse like 2 strokes. And she's like, well, we better get breakfast. I'm like, wait, what happened to horse time? I thought we were going to learn something about pure country and horses. So they go to the breakfast table and they sit down like, okay, so there's going to be a breakfast scene now. There's going to be some dialogue. This motherfucker eats like half a piece of bacon. And suddenly there's a pickup truck parade of visitors. And I'm like, okay, so now it's about Al's back. Then they're taking the farm away. And then Ernest is like, I'm going to give you a speech. And well, boy, come on. We're never going to eat the breakfast is now over. None of these scenarios ever plays out or pays off. This is Deer Hunter in reverse. In Deer Hunter, we got like 2 hours of a wedding. And we're like, okay, we get it. There was a wedding. Here, I want to see the breakfast. I want to see the horse scene. I want to see the fight. Like, end the things that you start. Don't just throw them at me.
You got to. And then they tease us. The poster, Gene, you got a giant belt buckle, says pure country.
Sold.
And then you got Dusty playing and you have Harley leaning over on his shoulder. They're implying, Gene, romance.
Yeah.
We're getting little tidbits of romance and some sassiness and some love. And for a movie that's rooted in the world of country music, this is a genre that often thrives on heartache, lust, temptation, raw passion. Every country song is about getting my pickup truck. We're going to go out in the field. We're going to fuck. Or
checking for ticks.
My wife is cheating on me. I got heartbreak. My husband ran off with another woman. Please come home. This shit, George Strait must have had in his contract that said this has to be family friendly. There's no way we can do anything above holding hands or maybe winking at each other from across the room. Because I thought I had somehow downloaded the made for TV version of it. I kept waiting for something hot, something emotional. any kind of physical touching. There is none. Dusty and Haley, I don't even think they kiss on screen. Did I miss? I don't remember them kissing. Not even tongue. Not a peck on the cheek. We don't know where he slept. Nothing.
Not even at the climax. They hug.
Yeah, there's
the
nothing.
Whole crowd. It's like the ta-da that we finally get to see them together and they're in love and they hug.
They leave so much open. In the beginning, I thought Lula was his wife. So then when you get Buddy in there, and it's implied that Buddy was having sex with her, but now I don't know. Because this is like a non-sexual film. Nothing is shown. There's some hinting, but they don't do it with any conviction. And it's for a genre of music that prides itself on sweaty, hot chemistry and hooking up under the stars. This gave us nothing, Gene. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. Might I remind you, George Strait is the one who sang us Overnight Mail. He also has a song called like The Fireman about how he goes all around town with his hose, putting out them fires,
them pants fires. You're going to put out that fire in your pants.
Yeah. I'm making my rounds all over the town.
Yeah, we don't get any of that here, Gene.
This movie was made for Bubba and Gladys down at the Cracker Barrel, okay? They would be scandalized by, I think, anything more passionate than a hug. You do the kiss, but it's blocked by his hat. Implied kiss.
The most salacious comment is made by Grandpa, who says, "We know she was out late night drinking. That's why she fell off the horse." That's the most salacious thing, that they knew what she was doing. We know what she was doing. I'm glad, Grandpa, you know, because I don't know. I watched what they did last night, and I still don't know.
There's a scene in the movie where Lula, she's walking kind of funny. I think it's just because she's in heels and she's walking on an incline. I thought it's because she got wrecked in the butthole. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, 100%. Because he gives her a look.
Yeah.
I know you just got rode hard and put away wet. That's exactly what he does.
Well, Buddy confronts Lula after his performance and demands $100,000 in a recording contract. Lula, realizing she's in trouble, hires an investigator to follow Earl and find Dusty. Realizing he has feelings for Harley and will not leave, Lula tells Harley that Dusty is married to her. Harley dumps Dusty, and Lula is waiting to scoop him up and return him to his band and career. Now back with his band, Dusty demands that his stage shows be toned down.
So was he married to her?
No.
You don't think ever? Not even at all? Why was he such a jealous mess in the beginning?
I don't think he was a jealous mess.
So much goes unsaid, Gene. Maybe they were married. Maybe they were in the past because
they certainly banged at some point. We wouldn't get to see it. That would have been a nice flashback too.
That would have. At least give us a hint, But with the title and the poster. So I'm thinking I'm going to get romance and I'm going to get good old-fashioned country music. I'm going to get everything that is country. Pure country.
All of Big D's favorite things. Pure romance and country music.
That's what I want. We got pickup trucks? Check. Horses? Check. Rodeo? Check. Some kind of cattle? Check. Grandma and grandpa? We got wisdom of the ages, the country sage. We got it all, Gene. We got kickers. We got line dancing. Young people trying to hook up. Giant belt buckles. We got trucks, tractor trailers. We got fucking everything, Gene. And then we get a stretch where I'm like, the fucking movie's going to start rolling here. We get what I call cowboy rodeo porn. Now, it's not nudity. This is boot stomping, rope throwing. We get like George Strait on a horse. This must have fired up the crowd, Gene, in the theaters. You see George Strait and his little Wranglers. He's out there. He's riding the horse. He's roping cattle. This is fucking City Slickers times 2. We get big energy. Dusty, he's getting his hands dirty. He's wrangling cattle. He's riding fast. He's roping. He has a little performance anxiety in the beginning. They're like, throw the rope. He finally fucking throws it. I'm like, we're back in business here. You could tell that George Strait knows how to handle a horse, just like Billy Crystal did in City Slickers. So I don't know that I'm convinced either one was a real ranch hand, but it was so good. I thought the movie was going to build off of what is everything country. And immediately after this montage and high energy music, it disappears.
That's where I want to be. I want to be at Dick Ebert's Boot Barn. I don't want to be in pure country because I felt like the country life that they were selling in this movie was not that appealing. The ranch was kind of
sad.
Grandma's house, kind of sad. The diner, kind of sad. They did not even make the line dancing look fun in this movie. It looked like prison. Like everybody was just lined up in that bar, just all doing the same moves. And I got to tell you, I'm not trying to bash line dancing because it is a lot of fun when you're doing it. But people out there know this. You cannot look cool while line dancing. I see so many people at the bar thinking they look cool when they're line dancing. It is not cool. You look cooler playing pickleball than line dancing.
No, you're a fucking city slicker. You don't know. I know you're gonna say, "Oh, I spent time in Lima." Okay, that's your go-to card.
I'm from Arizona. I grew up on a dairy farm.
Okay, maybe you've forgotten your roots.
Okay, maybe I was across the street from the dairy farm, but I could smell it.
You need to go back home. You got to go see grandma. You got to go get back to your roots. That's what you got to do. But I have a theory here. You said it seems depressing. It seems sad.
Yeah.
My thought is that all of the actors and everyone involved, this was a hostage film. They were held hostage by what George Strait could do. Because you have this script that's dependent on emotional like scenes with professional actors. And then you get George Strait. I mentioned earlier, he's a singer. He's not an actor. He gets worse as the film goes. He's getting flatter and flatter with his line delivery. The scene you talked about earlier, the morning kitchen table conversation where he mutters, "Thanks for the hospitality. Sure, the ranch is beautiful." He has no conviction. It is a cardboard cutout of George Strait delivering these lines. He bites into a piece of bacon and he offers the most uninspired, "Good." He's beyond wood, Gene. It's absolutely horrible. And you talk about the brush. He's brushing the horse. He does 2 brushes, turns around, throws the brush, hits a chicken for some reason, goes, "Sorry." That's all he can muster. It's bad, Gene. It's really, really bad. We talked about the other artists, Will Smith, Mark Wahlberg. They deliver it with some conviction here. As he's walking around the scene, you can tell he's George Strait thinking, "I'm an actor. I'm Dusty. I'm not George Strait. I'm an actor. Hi, Grandma." And every time he sees someone, he has to throw their name in. He sees Grandma. "Hey, Grandma, I'm off the road. I can't take this no more, Grandma." "Okay, goodbye, Grandma." "Oh, Harley, how are you doing today at the ranch, Harley?" He's so bad. It just pulls me out of the scene. And it must have, every other actor on set should have wanted to kill this man.
Just to cover our asses, so nobody calls in and says that we didn't understand the movie. We know that when he says "thanks for your hospitality" and "sure is a beautiful ranch" and "good" about the bacon, that he's in an awkward situation with Ernest and the other ranch hands, right? We get that. But he's not even doing awkward situation well. The chicken thing, though, with my country roots, Big D, I can tell you that you often will apologize to chickens and other livestock, and you find yourself doing it, and it is kind of half-hearted. I kicked a rooster this last week. Sorry, bro. He's talking to the chicken. We got to give him a pass on that one. Until you've talked to chickens, you don't really know.
So it's just foul you have no respect for?
I saw Sarah's dad throw a rake, a full-on fucking rake at the rooster and hit the rooster in the head. And he's like, "It's the only way I can get him to move without hurting him." But roosters are assholes and chickens kind of suck too. Fuck them. Norman, the calf, that's a whole different story. I got feelings for the cows and the pigs.
Okay, gotcha. And for our listeners who you said are going to complain that we don't get the scene, we get it. But he could be a little charismatic. This is a perfect scene to show he's not nervous. This is an awkward situation, but he's a big time singer. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to woo the ladies that he's been doing, singing to him from the stage.
Yeah, and again, they're trying to give us this fish out of water shit. He grew up in this town. He knows how people are. He would know how to have breakfast with these guys.
Jesus Christ. Billy Crystal and his gang of city slickers, they fit into the ranch quicker than he did.
Yeah, I mean, Big D, it really makes you respect Eminem, like 8 Mile, Prince. My biggest critique of George Strait's performance is actually that he just doesn't know how to get angry. There are multiple scenes where he just keeps complaining about the smoke and lights. You're a country star. It's smoke and it's lights. It's like basic stagecraft. I don't know why that's bothering you so much. And I think the thing is, when he gets his ass kicked, he seems like he's laughing down there too. I don't think George Strait could actually get angry. He has nothing to draw from as an actor. Maybe they should have had him really tap into his joy or his sadness or something instead, because anger wasn't cutting it. Well, after leaving Shreveport, Dusty's band heads to Las Vegas, where Harley Tucker competes in a rodeo. Lula secretly arranges for Harley and her family to get tickets to Dusty's concert. She finds Harley and tells her the truth. Dusty performs his show, minus all the smoke and lights, and sits on the edge of the stage playing guitar and singing I Cross My Heart, a special love song he has composed for Harley. She forgives him, and the two hug at the end of the stage after his performance. So I respect Dusty for staying loyal to Lula after she absolutely rat fucked him. He knows that she is part of the reason he is who he is. He's loyal to her, loyal to Earl, loyal to the band. As Shania Twain would say, you dance with the one that brought you. For purely professional reasons, Lula should be fired. Her only job is to manage this band, which she sucks at. She committed fraud. She had a secret romance with an employee in Dusty's bus, and she has no idea how to schedule a tour. We see Dusty's band play Baton Rouge. That's the first show in the movie. Then they go to Shreveport. Makes sense, like 3 hours away, something like that. Normal bus ride, get set up, have a couple drinks, find a wife for the night. Their next show is Las Vegas. We don't see the band members get a break, like fly home or anything, and then regroup in Vegas. They're still in the bus. They're still on the road. It's just straight driving between Shreveport and Las Vegas, with no tour dates in between. They're passing up Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Lubbock, Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Flagstaff along the way between those two cities. Any of those is like anywhere from 3 to 6 hours apart. That is big money you're leaving on the table. You're not paying your expenses. You're not raking that money in. And remember, these are tour dates that they scheduled before Dusty took a walk. So you got to stop every 6-ish hours anyway. Why would you not play shows along the way? This is just amateur planning. She's really bad at her job.
Yeah, see, I think this goes into Dusty's fear of conflict. Dusty doesn't like to actually deal, because he said he can't get angry. So he is passé with everything that's going on. Maybe he knows she's kind of bad, but she starts off, she is the villain of the film. I wouldn't be surprised if she was stealing money, because she's banging, like you said, a subordinate. She's then trying to take his music. She's whispering in his ear that she's going to make him a big star. Mm-hmm. And without her, Dusty's nothing. She creates that major, you could have destroyed Dusty's career by putting up, it's a Milli Vanilli situation. If you have somebody up there lip syncing, you could have destroyed his career. Then inexplicably, she goes from tracking him down to his hometown and destroying the potential love of his life by saying it's the wife. And then she does a face turn where she has a coming to Jesus moment where she feels guilty. And I'm so sorry, Dusty. I'm so sorry. I'm going to make things right. And she goes and talks to Lula. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden at the end, everybody's smiling and happy. I'm like, where was this? Where did this come from?
Speaking of the end, like, what did you think of that ending?
I would have sang to Grandma.
That would have been nice.
If you sang to Grandma, it said, everybody, by the way, here, it's my lovely grandmother, stand up. That makes her happy. Every woman in the audience then loves him even more.
Yeah.
Instead, he's singing to one woman. Every other woman in the theater would be jealous.
She stopped coming to my shows because they were just too loud and she couldn't hear the words. And like she told me, without the words, it ain't a song. This ending was flat out anticlimactic. The entire story arc is about Wyatt finding his roots. And he just wants to sing that song that means something to him without all the smoke and the lights. So we then get to this song and it's like gonna be a moment. And it's the most overproduced song of the movie. Wyatt, he gets the spotlight to follow him, and Harley's in her special seat at the Mirage in Vegas. And then George Strait goes on down and he sits down, and clearly, for the first time we see, he is clearly lip syncing in this movie. He doesn't even have a microphone. He does that song, I Cross My Heart. And then all the real actors in the movie, as you said, Big D, were being held hostage. They're forced to look at George Strait, well, we're really looking at the camera, and react emotionally to his singing a full song. And you get your tight shot of Grandma, and then it's Harley, And then it's the ranch hands. And then even Grandpa Ernest, he's got a little glint of a tear in his eye. He's feeling something, this gruff old cowboy. And I was hoping that at this point in the movie, and I really thought like this is the only logical way this movie goes, is it was going to cut to George Strait singing in raw audio. Like he was actually singing on set into a microphone, and we got to hear that. And imagine the impact that would have, right? Of getting to hear his voice, not off of a soundtrack, just get him singing with a guitar and that ambient noise of the Mirage. That would have been incredible. Just an artistic move. That is not what we got.
Unfortunately, Gene, I could not focus on the song or the performance like you did. I had another problem. The Tuckers are in Vegas. They've made it clear they don't want anything to do with Dusty. Someone shows up, says, hey, we have tickets to a show tonight and a limousine. They don't say, what show? Who's singing? Who gave the tickets? They just go, all right, it's a limousine. We going to go to the show.
Good thing Harley brought her evening gown.
So then they go, they show up at the Mirage. They still don't know who's singing. They sit down looking around like, gosh, oh Molly, I wonder who's going to be singing tonight. And who's sitting, Gene, in the booth next to them?
Grandma
from the same town. You know that Grandma and Grandpa Tucker, they went to school together. They had to. There's one school in this town.
Yeah.
They didn't sit there and say, hey, what you guys doing here? Who's singing? That's your grandson? Oh, my goodness. None of that happens, Gene. And also, this is supposed to be the pinnacle of the romance we've not seen. The first line he thinks is, our love is unconditional. And I'm like, oh shit, where was that? I didn't see any of that. It's supposed to be the emotional climax, but they haven't shown me any of it. I haven't seen any love develop. They've had a few polite conversations. They shared a meal. There's some like awkward eye contact, but that's it. There's no deep connection. There was no having sex out in the field. There was no fornication, no hooking up, no romance, no passion, Gene, nothing. Absolutely zero. She's in the bathroom being like, I'm in love. Really? I didn't see it. We have to believe in a love story by what we're seeing on screen. We haven't seen any of it. So Dusty sings these lines. It seems like bullshit to me. There's no unconditional love. It feels like the lyrics were from a different movie.
Well, now is the time in the podcast we give our Shat score for Pure Country. The Shat score is our way of telling you how many wipes this movie would take to get off your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It's when a melody sounds like a memory. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster of film. It's when you're just a dancing chicken on a hot stage. Big D, start with you. What is your wipe score for Pure Country?
Gene, usually what pisses me off the most is like a waste of potential. Here, I can't say that there was a waste of potential because you have a musical artist, so there's a built-in audience, but he wasn't that talented. The script wasn't great. The editing left questions and holes. There seemed to be constraints on the subject matter. So it was doomed to fail. I just wish it would have been shittier.
Yeah.
I wish it would have gone worse. I wish it would have left greater questions out there. I think it would have been better as a worse film, and I was hoping for that. So, I mean, I got to hold it accountable. It's a 4 wipe. It is. There's a reason that George Strait did not get another acting role after this. So I think 4 wipes is fair. It was bad, but I got to say, I didn't hate it. It was enjoyably bad.
Big D, I'm 100% in agreement with you on this. I hadn't thought of it until you mentioned it, but a worse movie would have been better in a weird way. You know what I want? I want all these characters and all these situations just dialed up to like 11. Like have people who are ridiculously country. Have the bartender at Kickers just be a fucking weirdo. Have the bar fights be rough and tumble, people breaking chairs over each other's heads, you know, whatever. And in that way, I think it was falling into the trap that a lot of country music falls into. It doesn't understand that it's a caricature of itself, because what it's telling us is that fable that country music tells us, that small town folk are real nice and real genuine, and that you should do hard work just for the sake of hard work. God, flag, and country and all that shit. I mean, we get a flag porn where there's the guy on the horse just riding around the rodeo grounds. faster and faster. And then he stops and he raises the American flag and everyone's just cheering, hands over hearts with their cowboy hats off. And I think in not being honest with itself and not being honest with us, this movie it refused to take chances. It boxed itself in the way that early 90s country really boxed itself in. And to me, the only country music I respect is outlaw country. I got to go with Frank and do Four Wipes as well.
I wish we had gotten a Roadhouse version of Pure Country. Dial it up, like you said, Gene, to 11. Make it ridiculous. Make every conversation the end of the world dramatic. Everyone's fighting. Everyone's screaming. Everyone's cussing. Taking a break in the cooler. I'm on my break. Having sex in the cooler. That's the movie I want to see.
All right, Frank. Well, with 4 wipes from Big D, 4 wipes from me, and actually 4 wipes from you, that gives us a unanimous wipe score of 4 wipes for Pure Country.
Gene, now that the three of us have given it 4 wipes, that ties us in the 345 spot with Real Genius, Arachnophobia, Gleaming the Cube, The Crow, Inner Space, Blue Thunder, and Caveman.
The Crow's better than this.
Well, again, of those, I was not on Real Genius or The Crow. So I can Gleaming the Cube? Fuck. I'd rather watch Gleaming the Cube. I'd rather watch Arachnophobia. The Crow, of course. Inner Space, Blue Thunder. I love when the police are in whisper mode outside my window watching me do naked yoga.
Hey, that had the sex that you were looking for.
It did.
Yeah.
Give us that. Give us a window like silhouette of Harley changing, or maybe the two of them embracing. Could have done that. Whatever. Yeah, I think this is worse than 4 Wives. I think we failed.
Well, on that note, Big D, what do we have coming up next week?
Gene, next week, Colombian terrorists take an American prep school hostage as a mean of gaining his drug lord father's freedom. Privileged yet rebellious students, Joey, Billy, Snuffy, and Hank, find that they are better equipped to deal with the threat than the mostly ineffective government agencies sent to rescue them. With resourceful Billy as their leader, the students struggle to defeat the terrorists and save the school. Commissioned by Eric C. And I think this is going to be a little less serious taps. When you got Hank and Snuffy and Billy and Joey out there saving the day, it might not be as serious or heavy hitting. Regardless, Eric C., thank you very much for the commission. Came out in 91, and I don't remember seeing this.
As long as these characters weren't written by the same team that gave us Lula, Dusty, Buddy, Earl, Harley.
So, Gene, you know the actor John Doe? He plays the drummer and the bartender in Roadhouse. That sounds like a porn name, John Doe. His character here, another great porn name, Earl Blackstock. That is a great porn name.
You got something on your mind, man? You want more sex? Think about porn names. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just felt like this movie. I felt teased, Gene. That's what it was. I think I have movie blue balls.
Yeah.
I do. I was expecting. I said, give me something. And it just, every time I'd be like, okay, here it comes. And I wasn't getting aroused, but I wanted it. I felt like it was needed. It would have explained something. And then it didn't happen. And I felt like they were doing it maliciously.
Thank you, Eric, for your upcoming commission. Thank you, Frank, for Big D's sexual awakening. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat the Movies. Be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat the Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Also, you can visit shatpod.com, use the SpeakPipe feature to leave us a voicemail. Support the podcast by shopping our Amazon affiliate link, buying our merch, or by commissioning your own movie. Find all that information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV, where we review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all that information on our website, shatpod.com/TV. Wherever fine podcasts be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe. And if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
The Regis School for Boys, where the country's best families
bring that back here.
send the world's worst students.
If you're gonna kick me out, kick me out.
They'd make 4 prep schools in 4 years. You're trying for the Guinness Book of Records?
But these boys are in for a real shock.
If you do not
produce my father unharmed, I will begin executing the hostages.
I'm sure by now you have discovered who their parents are.
Chairman of the Armed Services Committee, Vice Chairman of the Republican Party. What does your father do, William?
Contractor.
According to this, he owns the third largest construction company in the world.
Yeah, he's a contractor.
My boys, many of them, they have a real problem with authority.
Are you with me or not?
Of course we're with you, man.
But if you get a shot, we're gonna be PO'd.
I have an assault force in a staging area 5 minutes away.
I've seen these orange wires. These are wired to explosives.
The kid can get the other students out of line of fire.
If any one of these wires is cut, they will explode!
This kid has been kicked out of 2 schools.
Well, 3 schools.
No. That's a detonator.
He's got guts. He's a leader. Willie says he can do it. I gotta believe he can.
That's the signal. You're right. We're really gonna do this? You bet.
Toy soldiers.
David Crockett? Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
Daniel Boone or
Oh.
David Crockett hat? Daniel Boone, right?
I think it's Daniel Boone. I think so.